All right, take 3. Let's talk about incubation. I have teased it and I'm sorry, but I am going to talk to you about what happens after these eggs are laid, all right? First things first, snake lays the eggs, right? Penelope lays the eggs. Hopefully we get a big, huge clutch. As I said, hopefully everything's healthy. Hopefully there's no complications and everything goes as planned, right? And hopefully we hatch everything that we want. Next, Incubatorville, here we come. So what I have here is a wine cooler that I found on Facebook resale, and I turned this into an incubator. It did kick around my garage for about 2 years, which Ben super duper loved, but it's here and it's done. So what I did is I took some Flex White heat tape. I'm gonna take you out here. So this stripy stuff right back here is Flex White heat tape. This is the heating element for my incubator. On either side here, I have 2, oh, I stuck my finger in it. Oh my gosh, that was stupid. All right, well, that was not smart. I have 2 computer fans, which are not enclosed on one side, but they are on the other. So don't stick your finger in it. That was silly. On top here, I have my egg box. So in my egg box, I have my thermostat probe, which is wired to my thermostat on the outside. Now inside here is my egg box. I have my temperature probe and I have my substrate. I use vermiculite. It is used in planting plants and it helps to retain moisture. So you can use perlite, hatchite, or vermiculite. I opt for vermiculite, just what I've always used. So once the eggs are laid, I remove them from mom. In the wild, ball pythons maternally incubate, which means that they wrap themselves around the eggs and they stay on them through the duration of their hatching period. They don't leave to go get food. They don't do anything. They lay on the eggs and use the heat that they extract from the sun and the environment to keep the eggs warm until they hatch. Once they hatch, them's the breaks, kid. They don't teach them how to eat or anything. They're reptiles. It's just kind of what they do. But it's really cool that they incubate them in the wild. Now in captivity, I personally choose to remove the eggs because I have more control over the temperature and I have more control over when mom goes back on feed. As soon as you get the eggs away from mom, she kind of returns to normal and starts eating, which is really important because she spent all this time off of food while she's been building her eggs. So once the eggs are laid, before I put them in the incubator, I'm going to remove mom carefully because she might bite. It's not anything against her, it's just she's trying to protect her babies. I'm going to take them into the bathroom because that's the darkest place in my house. And I'm going to bring a flashlight and I'm going to illuminate the eggs to see whether or not there's veins on the inside. As we do this throughout the process, you can see the snake wiggle inside and it's super cool. You don't want to remove the eggs from the incubator for too long so that way they don't cool off and you cause damage to the embryo. But at this point, as soon as they're laid, you can see veins developing inside them. That's why mom sits on the hot side before she lays her eggs. The 3 most important things for incubating your ball python eggs are consistency. That is the biggest, most important thing is consistency, temperature, and humidity. Humidity is key. If you have eggs that are too dry, they don't develop properly. If they're too wet, they mold. If they're too cold, they don't develop properly. They develop slower. So if you're gonna have an error in your temperatures, err on the side of cold rather than hot. Too hot leads to deformities, kinks, skull malformations, overbites, underbites, all sorts of horrible malformations within the snake. I run my incubator at 88 degrees. Some people like it a little warmer, some people like it a little, very few people like it a little cooler. I like to err on the side of slow, steady. It's like the tortoise and the hare, right? Tortoise ends up winning. After 55 to 60 days, I kid you not, guys, we're gonna be in this for a long time this summer. 55 to 60 days, the first snake pips. Okay, so what does that mean? It means that they tear through the egg, which is about this big, with their little egg tooth, and they take their first breath of fresh air. So that's called pip. So after about 55 days, sometimes longer, sometimes less long, the first snake emerges and takes his first breath of air. At that time, I like to cut my eggs. It's not like chickens where you can damage the chick and they're not gonna be as vital, they're not gonna hatch on their own. If you just cut a little slit, you can take a little peek especially when morphs are involved, and see what you hatched. Some people don't do this. I do. Doesn't seem to bother the snakes. They all seem to be just fine. So that's good. We're gonna incubate the eggs at 88 degrees with 95% humidity. We want these babies to be moist. After the eggs have pipped, we slice a little hole in the top to see what's cooking inside. And then after a couple days, they emerge. After that, what we do is we put it in their hatchling rack. So I have these little racks that I keep them in, and wait a week once they have their shed, their first shed. I feel like there should be a name for it after like first shed, after their embryonic shed, they will eat. After their first meal, they start to grow, obviously. And after that, once they feed reliably, I'll sell them. So if you're looking for a snake, I hopefully will have some. I'm really hoping that today is the day for Penelope, but we just don't know. Stay tuned and I'll keep you posted.